What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys. So I decided to watch this show, Love is Blind, over on Netflix. I started watching it, I believe it was Friday night, and overall, it's a rather interesting love experiment, you guys. It's one that I can say I don't know for a fact that I would ever do it if I were given the opportunity to do Love is Blind because it's very interesting. Um, I was just amazed watching it. Like I said, this is my first time watching it. But you guys, before we just go ahead and delve into this live, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a big solid favor, you guys, and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. And you guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, you guys, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop into season 5 of Love is Blind, shall we, you guys? So, before we go ahead and get into it, I want to just go down the line of the cast. What I will say for me personally, I don't think I like any of these people. I didn't find anybody that I gravitated toward, and I was like, oh, I like this person. I want to see how this story plays out for them. It just wasn't anybody like that for me. But how I'll do this is I'll start off with the ladies and then I'll talk about the men. So the first lady we have is going to be, sorry, you guys, Aaliyah. So Aaliyah is 29 years old. She's an ICU travel nurse. I will say I did like Aaliyah. I kind of liked Aaliyah, and we'll discuss Aaliyah a little bit more as I get into talking about Aaliyah. But I did. And I also noticed that there are 28 people in this pod, but we only saw a select few people. So next up, we have Estefania. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. So she's 30 years old, and it says she's a teacher slash dancer. Then you have Chandra, who is 32 years old. She's a flight attendant. Then after that, we have Paige, who was 32 years old, and it says here that Paige is a stylist, you guys. So after Paige, we have Renee. So Renee is 32 years old and she's a veterinarian. Then we have Lydia. Child, Lydia is, wait a minute, Lydia is 32. I thought Lydia said she was 30. Lydia is 32 and she's a geologist, you guys. Lydia is a very interesting person. I will say that much. Next up is Miriam. I liked Miriam, and I noticed we didn't see a whole lot of Miriam in the episodes. But Miriam is 32 years old, and she's a scientist. I think she's so pretty. After Miriam, we have Stacy. Stacy is 34 years old, and she's a director of operations. After that, we have Johnny. Johnny. I don't know how I feel about Johnny, you guys. Johnny is 32 years old, and Johnny is a lawyer. Then we have Linda, who is 32 years old, talent acquisition recruiter. You have, I think that's Myra, and she is 25 years old, and she's a minister. Oh, that's interesting. I know we haven't saw her either. Taylor. Taylor is 26 years old, and she is a teacher. Um, a lot of things that I have some things that I want to say about Taylor when we get to her. So for the men, we got Robert, who is 30 years old. He is a special education teacher. Izzy, 31 years old, and it just says sales for Izzy. Wow. Next up is Chris, you guys. Chris is 28 years old. He's a project manager for commercial and real estate development. Then we got Milton. Milton is 25 years old, and he's a petroleum engineer. Then we have Justice, and he is 28, personal trainer. Who else? Carter. I vaguely remember Carter. He's 30 years old in construction. JP, 32 years old and a firefighter. I absolutely hate this photo of JP. Then we got Josh, who's 32. He's a sales representative. It's like I said, it's a lot of fucking people, you guys. We got Jared. I remember Jared from the first episode because he was talking about how skinny he is. 34 years old, university director. Then we got Connor, who's 31 years old, and he's a geoscientist. Ernesto, who is 32 years old, he's a supply chain manager. And Efren, I forgot. Now, there's one person that is missing, and I don't know how in the hell I missed him. I know I have his picture. One that I just really dislike. Uche. Uche is 34 years old and he's a lawyer and an entrepreneur. Babe, I got some things to say about Uche. Hey Shayna, how you doing today? Oh my God, Love is Blind. Like I said, you guys, this is a very interesting show. It's just one that I don't know for a fact that I would ever do it. Like you're going into this experience and you don't know this person. You don't know what they and it's not a problem that you don't know what they look like. I think the problem for me is just it's crazy. It's kind of like now. Let me know in the comment section in the live chat. The people who make Love Is Blind are they the same people who make Married at First Sight? Because I wouldn't do Married at First Sight, and I definitely wouldn't do this. If I had to pick, I would pick this over Married at First Sight because Married at First Sight, you're literally just meeting the person for the first time and saying your vows to them. With this process, you're talking to the person inside of a pod. I think it's a 10 day. I think it's 10 days, and then you get engaged. And I do like the premise of it, the fact that you don't necessarily know what the person looks like, so you're just having conversation with them and you're getting to know them that way. I do like that aspect of it, but I do think for me it's just old fashioned, and I prefer to just meet you in person and go from there. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've never done the blind dating stuff. I've done it, and it wasn't for the first time. It was not for me because the first time I got catfished. The second time, not so much, right? But the first time I did it, it was in 2007. So, you know, you couldn't video chat people. Um, we had, the cell phones weren't what they are today. In 2007, I had a Razor phone, so that had a camera on it, but it had grainy quality. So Shayna says yes, the same production as Married at First Sight. Okay, so that's why because I noticed some similarities with it. I did notice some similarities with that. But overall, I will say that for me with Love Is Blind, I started like I said, I started watching it on Friday night and I got hooked into it. So I just finished episode 4. So what I'm gonna do is episode 5 through 7. I'm gonna watch that, and then I'm gonna do a whole review of that, and then I believe by either Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll come back and I'll do another live to talk about those episodes. Right. So it's just yeah. So the thing is, they do this 10 days, and if they get engaged, they have a wedding date set in 4 weeks. I think that's the thing for me. It's just so jam packed. You're getting to know somebody in 10 days, and then you get engaged to them. You meet them, and then after that, a wedding date is set for you. Like I'm just a traditional person. I would prefer to date someone for a couple of months, maybe even a year or two, right? I will say one thing I am noticing with a lot of these people is most of them are in their early 30s or in their early 20s, or some of them are in their late 20s. I'm like, wow, I don't, I'm just in my early 30s and I'm still not at the point where I want to get married. But hey, that's what these people want, and I'm here for it, right? So let me know what you guys think about this cast. Because, like I said, for me, when I watched this, I didn't necessarily connect to anybody, but I know that I knew if these women saw some of the men, they were two people that I knew that if they saw them, number one would be Izzy. If any of the ladies were able to see Izzy, I think they all would have gravitated toward Izzy because Izzy is a handsome guy, right? And it's interesting that I have Izzy, Johnny, Uche, and Johnny on my screen. Like it's so interesting that those are the 4 that I chose for my thumbnail because all 4 of these, whew, they got some ish to them. I'm still trying to fill out Johnny because when Johnny was talking to Izzy and Chris, she had a connection with Izzy, and then she eventually broke things. She had a connection with Izzy and Chris, but she got to the point where she broke things off with Chris to pursue things with Izzy. And then when Izzy dumped her to go be with Stacy, then she wanted to double back to Chris. I was like, "Ooh." And I what I will say about Johnny is her connection with Izzy. It always seemed like when she talked about Stacy, it always came off as jealousy because she kept saying, "Oh, well, if Izzy picks Stacy, it's not going to work out with those two. It's not going to work out with those two." Why do you say that? Because you're not in the pod with Izzy and Stacy, so you don't necessarily know what it is. For me personally, it just gave jealousy. I want you guys to let me know what you thought about that. I just want you guys to tell me your thoughts and opinions about that. I want to talk about Milton real quick, you guys. I think Milton is way too young for this process because when he went into it, he told I think he was talking to Lydia at one point, and he was telling Lydia that he is 24 years old, and this is Milton. Now, we'll say Milton is he's a tall guy, very handsome, but I just think that Milton is way too young for this process. And you guys, if you guys watched me when I reviewed Married at First Sight earlier this year, with Dom, I said the same thing about Dom because Dom was 25 years old. And when I say that they're too young, I don't mean, let me explain this because I had people come in the comments and say, "What do you mean by that?" So when I say too young, I think that early 20s is way too young to decide that you want to settle down and be someone's husband and be someone's wife. I feel like in your early 20s, you should get to know yourself and figure out what you want to do in your life. Granted, he has a career, so he knows that part. I think for me, I think at in your early 20s, you should live your life. You should go out, have fun with your friends. Like he plays Wii. So I feel like you should go out with your friends. You should have fun with your friends and do wild and crazy things. I don't mean sleep around. I just mean travel the world. Figure out the things that you like before you take on the responsibility of I'm someone's husband or I'm someone's wife or I'm someone's mother and father. That's what I think. And you guys can let me know what you think about that. But that's my personal thoughts and opinions about that. Like I said, I do think that Milton has his head on his shoulders, and I think he will at some point make someone a great husband. I don't necessarily believe that it's Lydia. I don't necessarily believe it's Lydia. Lydia, I have an issue with Lydia, and I'm going to talk about Lydia and Uche when I get to them. Like, I'm going to talk about Lydia and Uche because those who are trifling as hell, especially Uche's old gaslighting ass. Baby, I got a lot to say about Uche. So Charlie says, I want to fight the producers for Uche, Aaliyah, and Lydia. I do too because that was so. Oh, like I said, you guys, I'm gonna talk about Uche because I got some things to say about Mr. Uche. The next person I really want to talk about is Taylor. Here's what I found. I'm not talking to you, Taylor. I think Taylor is a sweet girl. I think she's beautiful, but I don't know that Taylor should have came on this process because I think Taylor when at one point in I forget which episode it was, but she was talking about how she just started loving herself. I was like, you just started loving yourself? Do you think that this is the process for you to come on if you just started loving yourself? It's not you say Lache, it's Lache, baby. Yes, because we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that fool in just a minute with his gas. Like he pissed me off when he gassed. When I really got to episode 4, he pissed me off watching and remembering what he did to Aaliyah in the episode. We getting ahead of myself, but yeah, Taylor. I don't know if Taylor necessarily loves herself. She says she loves herself, but I don't know that she does. And her connection with she got engaged to JP. JP. Now I've been on Twitter, so I've saw people say some things about JP. I have not gotten to episode 5 yet, so I don't know what people are talking about with JP. But when her and JP, matched up with each other, it didn't seem 100%. It was just something off for me. Him calling her sugar, her calling him sugar butt. It was just weird to me. I was like, yeah, this don't seem, it's something off here. Shayna says Uche is a textbook narcissist. He is. He is. He is. He is. Oh, Uche, 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 Uche. Or as Charlie says, Lyche. Because, oh, he pissed me off. Like, oh my God. I'm going to highlight this, but I'm not going to read the comment. But looking at this picture of JP, yes. Yes, absolutely. Like, I don't want to say the comment out loud because I don't want the channel to get flagged or anything. So I'm not ignoring your comment. I just don't want the channel to get flagged. But yeah, I can see that. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead since Aaliyah's next in my notes. I think Aaliyah is very beautiful. I liked Aaliyah. I didn't think that she was good for Uche or Lyche, as Charlotte calls her. But here's Aaliyah, very pretty. So in one of the episodes, Aaliyah was sitting with Uche, right? And they were just, talking, and she revealed to him that she had cheated on her ex-boyfriend, right? And I was like, okay, I got how Uche felt in that moment, but I think he overreacted. I really do feel like he overreacted. So she said she cheated on her ex-boyfriend. It was 2 years ago. I have to, as much as I don't like Uche, I will agree with Uche when he said that wasn't that long ago. 2 years is very recent. I have to agree with him in that aspect. It's very recent. So he asked her, like, why didn't you know what happened? She said that she talked to the boyfriend and told her, I think she wasn't sexually satisfied in the relationship. So she had told the boyfriend that. And my thing is, instead of you cheating, because she said it was a one time thing, but instead of you cheating, why didn't you tell the man that, hey, you know, you're not doing this for me? Can you do, you don't have to teach people how to love you and things or how to satisfy you. But if they're not doing it for you, the answer is not to go out and cheat on the person. You break up with that person. So I did agree with him in that aspect, but the way he flipped that on her and made her out like she was this bad guy, I was like, okay. And she just bust out in tears, and she went back to their quarters, and she was just crying, and everybody surrounded her, especially Lydia. Lydia, now here's the question that I will ask of Lydia. How in the hell were you consoling her knowing this whole time you knew who Uche was? You dated Uche. Like, that's the most confusing part for me with Lydia is you were involved with this man, and then you sitting here consoling this girl, telling this girl that if he lets you go, that's gonna be on him. That's his loss. I was when we finally got the real tea about Lydia, and when we finally got the real tea about Lydia and Uche, I was like, wow, y'all both are terrible. So Charlie said she did tell the boyfriend that how to fix. Oh, she did say that. I must have missed that part because I didn't think she. I thought she said that yes, she talked to him about it, but I thought this. I didn't know she said that part. But okay, I don't have a problem with that. But the only thing that I have the problem with is the fact that you cheated on him and you stayed with him. What did she say? What, 2 months or so? Like, that was the only problem that I had. But in the grand scheme of things, Uche had absolutely no room to talk about anything with her. Like, Uche can miss me with that. Star also says yes, he still didn't fix it, and at that point, she just should have. I know, I don't blame her for what she did. It's just how she did. It's just kind of how it happened. How she. Let me say this: is how she explained it, because when she explained it, it didn't come off that well. Because it's like if you told him how to fix it, he didn't fix it. The answer really is not to go out and cheat on the boy. The answer is just to break the shit off and just say, F it. We're done. We're done. But I will say one thing I am noticing with the guys. So it's a lot of the men. So it's a lot of the men who have pause with things that the ladies say to them, right? So it wasn't just Uche who had a pause with something that was said. Also, Izzy. Izzy had an issue with something that was said to him. I kept looking at it, you guys. I kept looking at Izzy because I didn't realize that they filmed this. I didn't realize this was in Texas, and I kept looking at it, and I was like, "Wow," because Izzy looks like somebody that I went to high. He looks like a guy that I went to high school with, but then I had to Google. I had to Google Izzy, and he's not that guy because Izzy is too young. Because Izzy is what 29 years old, so yeah, he couldn't be in my class, but he looked like this guy that I definitely went to high school with. But Izzy, he had an issue with some things that Johnny said, right? So Johnny was previously married and Izzy was also previously engaged. I want Izzy to go into a greater detail about that previous engagement. I want him to go into detail about that previous engagement because he mentioned it once and he hasn't brought it back up yet. Like, I didn't forget about that previous engagement, Izzy. Why did things not work out between you and that lady? Why did things not work out between you and that lady that you proposed to? Now we know why Johnny's relationship didn't work out because she was in love with someone previously, and the guy was, a drug addict, and he passed away of an overdose, which was really sad. And she says that her ex-husband was a rebound. Yikes. That part blew me. Charles says the production told Lia Chain not to tell Aaliyah um, so that they can get close to their problem. Wow. So production told him not to tell her? That's jacked up. Shayna says, I think these people are lying about their ages. Some of them, yes. I definitely do. You say Izzy is homeless. He's looking for a sugar mama. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because he ended things with after he ended things with Johnny, that's what I'll say. When he ended things with Johnny, I did not like the way that she was talking about his credit score was low and all that stuff. But I'm like, Johnny, even if his credit score is low, babe, he was still your number one. You broke up with Chris for Izzy. So yeah, I'm like, I want him to talk about that. Why did that ex girl? What happened to you and your ex fiance? I think we all agree with it. It's probably because he's broke. Oh Jesus! When she said he had bad credit, I was like, girl, did you dodge a bullet or did you dodge a bullet? So yeah, he had a pause with that, and so then after he had a pause with that, he broke up with her and he went and got engaged to Stacy, right? Stacy, girl, I think the only thing Izzy got going for him is his good looks. Because other than that, I just don't see it, right? One thing I will say about Izzy too, his pants. His pants be hella, excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. This cough. One thing I will say about Izzy, his pants be hella fucking tight. Oh, geez. I'm like, can your nuts breathe? Like, can your nuts breathe? So, where are we at? Let me get to the comments, guys. Charles says yes. Oh, give me a minute, you guys. All right, you guys, I'm back. So it says look up the interview on People Magazine online. Okay, I will. I'm definitely look up the interview. I have to look it up. So yeah, but Izzy, I think the only thing, like I said, I think the only thing he got going for him is just he's a very handsome guy. Other than that, yeah, I don't know what it is. So let's get back to line ass Uche real quick, you guys. So with Uche, him and Aaliyah had a date in their pod in one. I think it was episode 3. So in the pod, he just decided to tell her, "Hey, so when I came here and I met one of the ladies, didn't realize it at the time. I knew her." So they did the flashback, right? And it was Lydia. So he introduced himself to Lydia, and Lydia said, fuck. She kept saying fuck. He's like, that's not the, reaction that I was expecting. And so Lydia called his full name and she told what he does. She says, you're a lawyer and you have this and this and that. And I was like, oh, so y'all know each other. Yep, they know each other, right? They dated each other in 2020. And I was like, wait, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes real quick. So you two dated, but you had a whole issue with the fact that she cheated on her ex-boyfriend. Which one is worse? Like, your ex is here. Your ex is here. So, sir, like, I don't care what you have to say about anything. Your ex is here. So, when were you going to tell her the situation? Like, when were you going to tell her that somebody that you previously dated is in the pod? And not to mention the fact that she's become close to this girl. Like, I was thrown for a fucking loop. So Aaliyah left and she was like, you know what? I'm becoming friends with this girl, right? And she's like, it's starting to make sense now why she would say some of the things that she was saying. It's like, it sure is because she knows this man inside and out, literally and figuratively, might I add. So Aaliyah was like, you know what? I just want to go sit down and have a conversation with her and talk to her because, I don't want it to be a situation where, we become friends and me and you become serious and I have to look over my shoulders. I was like, Aaliyah, girl, I believe you're going to have to look over your shoulders, especially after that terrible conversation that you had with Lydia. Now, what I will say is, although I did not like the conversation that she had with Lydia, how Lydia kept telling her so many things about Uche, but I did respect it. And I'll tell you guys why. The reason why I had so much more, I didn't have respect for Lydia. I had respect for her telling her the things that she said because Uche would have never told her this stuff, right? So he was like, okay. So she went and sat down with her, and they said that they still want to be friends, and Lydia's talking about how much she loves Aaliyah and all this stuff. I'm like, do you really? Because you literally sat in her face. And then in the flashback, Lydia wanted to start at ground zero as if they didn't know each other. But then it was Uche was like, well, then the experiment wouldn't really be a success. I was like, sir, shut up. And so Aaliyah asked him, like, is there any feelings on your side? He said no, right? I'm like, okay. Charlie says Lydia is a damn liar. She is. So he said there's no feelings, right? I was like, I don't know if I buy that 100%. So she went to talk to Lydia. Lydia talking about his favorite color. She done met some of his friends. She's been to his apartment. She's met his dog. She bought his dog a bone. She has told her basically everything about this man. And I'm like, Lydia, read the room, you dumbass. This is her connection, the guy that she's telling you everything about. And here you are just having word vomit. But that didn't even top it. What topped it was Lydia telling her that she saw him in January of this year and had sex with him. I was like, say what now? Run that back real quick. You did what? You met this man in January and you had sex with him 3 months ago? Girl, what? So yes, there are some feelings there on both of y'all side. Y'all are both full of crap. Like, oh God, I want to just reach to that TV screen and just smack the hell out of Uche. Lying ass. Like, Uche is the ultimate gaslighter. He is the ultimate gaslighter. Like, you literally sat there in that pod and made Aaliyah feel so bad about cheating on her ex-boyfriend, yet instead your ex-girlfriend from 2020 is in this in this experience with her and her is being her friend and then telling her so much stuff about you. Sir, please miss me with the bullshit. Like I was over Uche at that point, and I was so elated when he went to that pod to have. He was. I think he was at the point where he was ready to ask her to marry him, right? So he went to the pod. He's like, "Hello, like Aaliyah, are you there?" And the producers came on and said Aaliyah left the process. I was clapping like, "Yes, girl," because the whole time I was watching that, I was just like, if Aaliyah literally stays with this man, there's something wrong with you because this man is literally a gaslighter. He made you feel bad when see Uche played that so terribly. When she revealed to you that she cheated on her ex, that would have been prime example. That would have been prime opportunity for you to say, okay, I don't like that you cheated on your ex, but I respect that you're being honest with me, right? So since you're being honest with me, let me be honest with you about the fact that my ex-girlfriend Lydia is still, I dated her. It didn't work out for us. I really think that it didn't work out. I think it was something within him because I think because the crazy thing is there are some similarities between Lydia and Aaliyah. So I really do wonder what broke them up. And it couldn't be that bad that y'all ended up sleeping with each other 3 months prior to this experience. Charles says, I'm suing Netflix for this BS. Yeah, for this to be, oh God, and this is my first ever season watching Love is Blind. And this is what I walk into, a dumpster fire full of mess. Like, what the hell? Oh my God. Like, this is an interesting cast to say the least, but from the people that we have saw so far, I don't like any of them. What I will say is with Lydia and Milton, I don't think Lydia is serious about Milton, you guys. This is my personal opinion, right? Because when she first started talking to Milton and Milton told her he was 24, she had an issue with that, right? But now she's all in love with him and is babe this, is babe that. I just don't buy anything that comes out of her mouth. Then on top of that, when this fool went to tell Milton about Uche, Milton got quiet on her, right? So she went back to the girls' quarters and was just boo-hoo crying. And Stacy had to tell her, girl, you're tripping. You just told this man that your ex is in there with him. What do you expect for him to do? I was like, exactly. Somebody speak some common sense into this lady because she is delusional. When she started, I mean, she was just hysterically crying. And I'm like, girl, you have got to be delusional because make it make sense. Because I was just like, why are we crying? Why are you crying, Lydia? I don't like Lydia. I can say that for 100% fact. I don't like Lydia. Now I want to double back to Johnny, right? Like I said, I do get now. You guys can tell me how you feel about Johnny, right? Like I said earlier, I do get a little bit of hater vibes from Johnny because it just seemed like anytime somebody would say something about Stacy and Izzy, she would have to say something about them not working out. Now, granted, we didn't know at the time that the boy had terrible credit, and I do believe her that hey, that might not necessarily work out because I just don't see it working out with Stacy and Izzy. If it do, good luck to him. I mean, he just moved into an apartment, she said. So yeah, no judgment, but I don't see it lasting. Now, with Johnny and Chris, I don't like the fact that with Johnny, she broke up with Chris and Chris was so torn up about it, but she only went back to Chris after Izzy broke up with her. I didn't like that. I want you guys to tell me how you feel about that. I didn't necessarily like that. I did not like that because I just felt like, wow, it feels like you're kind of stringing him along. And I felt that in the beginning that she was stringing Chris along because she was so, she said she was more connected to Izzy. That's just what I thought. But yeah, I don't necessarily like that. But yeah, these are some interesting people, you guys. So I do agree with this comment. It's coming up for me. You say Johnny don't need love. Miss Ma'am need to be on somebody's couch. I agree. Her and Taylor both need to be on somebody's couch. Her and Taylor both need to be on somebody's couch. Those are my opinions. But yeah, you guys, this Love is Blind. This is an interesting show. Very interesting show. I'm glad that I watched it. I'm glad that I watched it because I got deep into this show watching it. So, like I said, you guys, I'm gonna have to go. So Shane, I'm gonna tell you why I say similarities. It's because Lydia keeps saying it. Because Lydia keeps saying we have. That's the only reason why I say similarities between Aaliyah and Lydia is because it keeps coming out of Lydia's mouth, and it did come out of Aaliyah's mouth at one point too. So that's the only reason why I'm saying that. Because otherwise, I don't really see it. I don't really see it. Because well, I mean, they kind of. I will say one similarity they got between them and it's the lying part, right? Because Lydia lied to her, and she lied to her ex boyfriend about cheating. And actually, it's the fact that she told the man that the man didn't even know that she cheated on him. I'm like, ooh, yikes. Whew. So, you guys, tell me how does this process? Tell me how it works, you guys. So, do they eventually? I know they eventually leave the pod, right? So, what happens when they leave the pod? Do they? Because is it like married at first sight? Like, do they live together with each other? And then get to know each other leading up to their wedding date, like let me know that, because again, like I said, this is my first time watching Love is Blind, and I just want to know what to expect. Charlie says wait till you get to the next 3 episodes, then the next three so and I know episodes 5 through 7 they're currently out, and then I think what this week sometime the next batch of episodes come out. Yeah, you guys, I'm interested in this show. I will tell you guys that Love is Blind has me drawn in. So okay, so Charlie says yes. Okay. Oof. I did, like I said, you guys, I was on Twitter earlier this morning, and I did see where people were talking about the fact that JP was talking about the fact that something about Taylor wearing makeup. I guess he doesn't like the fact that she wears makeup. Now, JP's not a bad looking guy, but sir, let's not talk about the looks. Let's not talk about looks. That's all I'll say when it comes to JP. So yeah, you guys, it's an interesting process. I didn't think that I would get into it, but I absolutely did get into it. Charles says it's a whole shit show. Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But yeah, you guys, like I said, I'm definitely into Love is Blind so far. So, like I said, episodes 5 through 7, I will do a pre-recorded review first, and then after the pre-recorded review, we will. So, my goal is to have episodes 5 through 7 up. If not today, I should have it up tomorrow, and then we will go live again on what's today? So today is October 1st. That's my cousin's birthday. So I'll try to have it up by the 2nd, which is tomorrow and Monday. So I feel like we'll go live again by Wednesday. Wednesday is Wednesday is what I'm shooting for, you guys. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys thought about this. This was a very interesting process that I just watched. Like I said, I don't necessarily know that I would do Love is Blind. If, like I said, if I had the choice between Love is Blind and Married at First Sight, oh, they're both interesting processes. Let me know what you guys. Let me know in the comment section which one would you guys pick, and a live chat as well. If you guys had the opportunity to be on Love Is Blind or Married at First Sight, which would you guys choose? I have issues with both shows because with Married at First Sight, the thing with Married at First Sight for me is the fact that we get married, we go on a honeymoon together, and then when we come back from the honeymoon, we live together. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that I have issue with Married at First Sight is living with a complete stranger, right? And I guess that'll be the same thing with this show. I I just don't want to live with a complete stranger, even if we are married or dating. I would prefer to get to know you first, and then I would have to, yeah, I would have to get to know you first before we can move in. just me personally. Charlie says, I told my lawyer I need therapy after watching this season. Yeah, this season is not like, ugh. And it's just select few people. And it's just interesting that, like I said, when I picked this thumbnail, I hadn't even watched the episode yet at all. I hadn't even watched episode one. I just saw this thumbnail and I just picked it. And then when I looked at it last night, I was like, wow, I picked again, when it comes to Johnny, I'm still iffy about her, but the other three, they trash. Izzy, trash. Lydia, trash. Uche, fiery trash. Uche is fiery trash. Yeah. Also, you guys, let me know. Is this a show that, because I remember earlier this year, is this Love is Blind the one that did the live reunion that everybody tried to watch, but Netflix crashed? Let me know that. Also, let me know, what part does Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey play in this at all? Do they have any integral part of this show besides just showing up in the first episode? I'm not talking to you. And some people got married, but only showing two couples. Yeah, I don't. That's the thing that I will say. I don't like this is the fact that they only focus on. They have 28 people, but they only focus on a select few people. Because I was looking at them when I was looking at the cast photos. I was like, you see them in the quarters, but you don't really see them in the pods dating. But I see why they focused on Uche and Lydia. Production, y'all ain't SHIT. Let me say that real quick. So yeah, you guys. I think that's all I got. If anything else, we can discuss it in episodes 5 through 7 in the comment section of there, or we can discuss it in the comment section of this one and in the live of episode 5 through 7. So yeah, you guys, that's really it for me. But let me. Some more people from the pods got married, but they're busy with the mess. Yeah, I figured that's probably what it was. I'm like, there's got to be other couples who make connections with each other, but y'all only focused on a select few people. It's a little imbalanced. But yeah, you guys, that's the review. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought about episodes 1 through 4. Okay, so that was them that tried to have that live reunion. Okay, so it was Love is Blind. So you guys, I'm gonna try to do more Netflix shows. I know that there's a show called The Ultimatum. I've never watched it either, so I will try to watch that as well when their new season premieres. And I guess we'll do these. I guess we'll do that because I was interested in this. Didn't think I would be, but I absolutely was. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys thought about this in the live chat and in the comments section, you guys. As always, you guys be blessed out there. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands, and I will catch you guys later. So I still got to get off of here, and I got to do Power as well as Love and Marriage Hunter, you guys. And I will see you guys in the comment section of both of those videos and in the comment section of episode 5 through 7 of Love is Blind. See you guys then. Bye, guys.